While the primary image of the Michael Brown shooting may well be one as described by witnesses of hands raised, these images will undoubtedly be the other enduring feature of this tragedy. A seemingly militarized police force that put Ferguson on the map. And it is something the likes of both Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky and Senator Claire McCaskill of Missouri have openly questioned. But here's the thing. Congress has approved these programs for years, which move Pentagon surplus military equipment to local municipalities, and Congress has even voted down an amendment to stop it. It will continue to be an issue on Capitol Hill. Congressman Lacey Clay, who represents Ferguson, met with Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel to discuss this Pentagon program. Congressman Clay was one of 355 congressmen who voted against an amendment proposed by Congressman Alan Graceman that would have stopped the Pentagon program. Before Congressman Clay's meeting, I got a chance to speak with him about how he wants to see Ferguson resonate in Washington.
Well, I've had numerous discussions with my colleagues, and the tragedy of the shooting of Michael Brown and the 11 or 12 days of protests that have followed tell me that we as a Congress need to address how the African-American community is policed in this country. So I plan on addressing that along with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle whom I have heard from that want to look at this situation and try to prevent it from happening in the future.
What does that mean concretely, though? I mean, are you talking about federal policy in terms of oversight of the police departments? Are you talking about ending the kind of militarization of police that we've seen in response to protests? What does that mean concretely?
Well, 2 days after Michael Brown was shot, I quickly contacted the Justice Department and asked Attorney General Holder to conduct a civil rights investigation and make it expansive. Look at the police departments in the St. Louis community and look for their use of excessive force. So, we are starting to get good results from that. Because there has been a vigorous pursuit by the Justice Department to look at the tactics of police agencies and start to address those. As far as federal statute, when it comes to policing, we need to look at it in a comprehensive manner, perhaps require body cameras, require cruiser cameras, look at how we diversify different law enforcement agencies in the St. Louis area and perhaps come up with best practices for the rest of the country.
Do you think the federal program that gives surplus military equipment, like the kind of vehicles we've been seeing, like the kind of assault rifles we've been seeing, like the camouflage and all of that, do you think that's a good idea?
Not at all. Here's why it's not, because I've been in Ferguson on the ground the last week, and I witnessed this heavy equipment with military, with rifles pointed at my constituents who were just there to express their constitutional rights of assembly and speech. And when I had a constituent call me, vet of Afghanistan, to tell me that if a soldier had pointed their weapon at an innocent civilian in Afghanistan, they would be court-martialed. So that tells me that that is a problem. What the police have done so far in Ferguson is unacceptable, and that policy has to be changed. As a matter of fact, Chris, I'm meeting today with Secretary Hagel to talk about this policy along with Congressman Cleaver, and we think that we will be able to change that policy. I mean, it was originally adopted for police agencies to fight drug cartels and incidents of terrorism, and it wasn't originally adopted to use against peaceful protesters.
Congressman Lacey Clay, who represents Ferguson in Congress. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.